one of these before. I am still Dr. Joe Vertino, the spiritual guide, author, musician, and Reiki master healer Usui. I'm here in Northeast United States, and I guess a point of gratefulness, thanks for the internet that we can do this wonderful stuff for you. And today's topic for spiritual ed is consciousness, energy, healing, how is it connected? So I guess what's nice about this, says Mr. Leo, as I refer to myself in my spiritual content, is basically that it's very easy for you to recognize that you're included in this topic. In that way, consciousness isn't even a thing in the sense of like a frisbee, or a sports team, but it's very much a thing still in this, kind of bigger realm of something that we can relate to or understand or talk about. And in a context of inclusiveness, well, we're all included in it. And now we even get to talk about it, that we have a kind of, groups around the world, non-dual spirituality, Eckhart Tolle, talking about pure presence and pure being. And that just knowing that, no matter what or where or when or how or who you're included, I think is a lovely thing that I get to share, that truth with you today. And then the other words, energy and healing, are maybe more of a little bit of an exterior or peripheral, in context of consciousness, which is right, like in the middle, right? Us, so to speak. And then basically we hope that kind of swells more as we move towards liberation. And then, energy. Well, energy, just generally go with the physics understanding of it. That's fine. Doesn't have to be new age or any kind of thing. And then healing is something that we know is good, that we need, and that there's people that are experts in it, like myself and also Miss Margaret Bryant, Energy Oracle, my lovely guest on today. So that's our introduction. Miss Bryant, would you like to introduce yourself and or whatever you have to share right away? Feel comfortable.
Sure. Well, I'm Margaret Bryant. The divine said I need to call myself an energy oracle because I read energy. So that's how I do the work that I do. I can see, feel, hear, taste. I have all of my abilities intact and many more that people are not aware of. I am a spiritual mentor, a teacher of energetic healing. I am also a Usui Reiki master teacher, and I also teach quantum healing. So my love, of course, is teaching, healing, helping people, talking about consciousness and energy and healing and how it is available for everyone and how to access it in easy ways. And that we all have the innate ability to heal ourselves. So that's my passion. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And I'm very happy to be on this podcast and have this opportunity to sit with you, Joe.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so exciting. In that way, I guess something to kind of start with, to kind of, now that we have our introductions done, I guess if I get to take the first stab at kind of the topic. But obviously this isn't a competition in the sense that truth is something that is inherent, is already here. There's one of them, in existence in that way, but we're kind of working our way with it, towards it, in it, behind it, following it, right? Whatever language you want to use. But anyways, so kind of starting with with that. So consciousness in that way is okay for us to think of as a single thing, just like truth. That it's kind of like we have different, I'm looking, outside and people with different color coats, my beautiful sweater today, and all these differences that we have. And that in that kind of way, we are I give you permission, so to speak, right, to allow this the way the mind is to just perceive consciousness as none of those varieties or differences, that it just kind of is and is one thing. So we aren't adding, some people might go into this video thinking, oh, it's going to be complicated. It's going to be astrophysics. It's going to be blah, blah, blah. No, it's more important that it's stupid, seemingly stupid, and kind of like, but that you understand it, right? It's kind of like it just matters more in that way that you understand it rather than anything else. So it's not about impressing people or anything like that. So let's think of consciousness as that it's not nothing, but it's one thing, in that way. And that so consciousness, right? One thing. So that's good enough on that. Yeah, go ahead.
Consciousness is everything and nothing at the same time. It's one field of energy. So it's everything and nothing at the same time. And truth, your truth changes from moment to moment. As you continue to expand and evolve, your truth will change. The truth of where you're at in the moment and where your consciousness is landing will change in the moment. So therefore, your truth will change from moment to moment.
Well, so in this way, we can start to tune in with some wisdom already, in the sense that if we have this one consciousness that is already, meaning that before we were born, so to speak, and after we die, and obviously, here. So in this kind of way, this one consciousness. Now, what Miss Bryant just brought up is this. Some people might think, I'm a Zen Buddhist, might think of the Four Noble Truths, actually, of that kind of like, or the Four Laws of Creation, right? That there is a discovery that's valid. That change is something that is kind of like immutable, meaning that it's like something that we can't prevent. It's something that is just inherent, to use that word again, in reality. Yeah.
Even as we're sitting here talking and we're moving our hands and we're breathing, we are changing. We are changing our energy. We are changing the energy of the room just by our movement and breathing. And even if we were to sit still and hold our breath, the energy around us is still moving. It's still changing. My reality is what is in front of me. What is behind me is an illusion. It doesn't exist until I turn around and say it exists from memory. Quantum physics proven. This phone isn't a phone until I say it's a phone. I look at it and say it's a phone. And then from memory, it turns from wave light into particle matter. This is science proven. I know it's way out there and crazy. It's really hard to even wrap your mind around, but that's the truth of it. So when I'm sitting here, what is behind me, I cannot see. So technically, it is not part of my reality. Only what is in front of me is part of my reality. The rest is an illusion. So we could go way off the deep end, going into discussion about energy and quantum and consciousness, without having to do the science of it, is just to stretch your mind to be able to think beyond what is perceived. So scientists never invented anything, only what they could imagine in their mind. And then they brought it to life. They invented it. They found it with a microscope. However it is that they found it, but it wasn't there to begin with. So, with that being said, helping people understand that energy is in movement, and just because not everybody can see what's in the ethers doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Would you agree? And you can call me Margaret, by the way, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess in this kind of way that I certainly, to make the point clear that there's something that we can understand about life, right? And that in that way that it's kind of like this idea that what is in front of us and what is behind us, and that we're in, a reality that has to change, right? And in that kind of way, you might feel about how I say the word consciousness, that might have because that could be maybe a little bit, even to be extreme, it might cause anxiety to think of, oh my God, everything changes, right? In this kind of way, but it's still true and real. So who am I to feel anxious, right? In this way that, consciousness is kind of like a saving grace, that it's kind of like that where if you talk about where to be, like with our mind, right? Or like, I encounter people nowadays and I ask them about religion and I get this kind of nothing. You're at this place of there's a nothing, and the person's here and they're alive and they're, hopefully doing okay that day. But in that kind of way that, it's okay to be honest, in that way, but also we shouldn't go so far as to deny our um, our connection with ourself and our needs and everything like that. And to me, in that way, it's okay to allow that sensitive aspect of who you are, even like a baby like quality of kind of this clutching to mother energy with these terms, of consciousness and healing and energy, and that it doesn't have to be some impressive thing, and
No,
I
not
feel better, much better that way than if people were to kind of do this nothing thing, and so, as a healer, I understand that this is very sensitive generally, but it's something that, we're meant to live fully. We're not meant to kind of, shy away in that way.
no.
But yeah,
Once
go ahead.
you consciously, which knowingly and intentionally commit to changing your life, feeling better, then, and that is also changing your reality because you're going to feel better. You can do that. The body can heal. And when you are conscious of the choices that you're making and using your intention, the body responds. So it's not that difficult. Instead of someone's saying, I'm sick today, I'm sick today, I'm sick today, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. What are they going to get? They're going to be tired all the time. They're not going to feel good. But and it is difficult when you are not feeling well, to say, I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm going to go do something today. I'm feeling pretty good. I think I could sit up and watch a movie today. I'm feeling pretty good. And the more you say I'm feeling pretty good, the better you're going to feel. That's you consciously participating in your own well-being. You are making a decision to change your mindset, to change the outcome of the way things are in this moment, therefore changing your reality. It's not that hard. It doesn't take rocket science to do it.
And I guess in that kind of way that, in that way, like I said earlier, that, someone reading this topic of this, podcast, their mind could go to a place of, oh no, a very real, oh no, in the sense that I have a hope, in me, and it's a pretty basic, but it's very real. And then it's better off, obviously that we stay even, in this place of simplicity, for the sake of consciousness, this one consciousness, rather than jump ship for the sake of really what it would be is low self-esteem and all these different things that we could call wounding, right? And then it's what is the appropriate way to deal with that is really what happens next. It's not keep talking and trying to impress yourself and everybody in existence, because then you're in denial. Right. So if we talk about consciousness, the benefit, if you want to kind of pros and cons, that's a benefit of consciousness because you are allowing yourself to grow, to accept who you are right now. And, the growth is kind of like, if I had a fear of X, Y, and Z, I'm allowing myself to start to see or realize what that truth of myself is in light of that fear, right? The fear of if I'm simple, says Mr. Leo, right? If I'm simple, it's like that's a Capricorn thing, right? They always are about doership and walking. I'm just a mountain goat, and there's a mountain, and I'm a goat, and we're going, right? And then it's like simple. So the Leo, personality might go, whoa, bro. We're going to Starbucks and we're wearing 3 scarves and we're buying a coffee. We're acting like we're writing poems for a while instead of the simple, the simple thing, you know? And then basically, so in this kind of way that moving forward with this, you aren't simple. This is the thing, is that you're so magnanimous and you're so complex and you're so sacred and geometric that we have a whole 70, 85 years, hopefully in our lives or more that we get to live, but we're not going to be able to understand, perhaps we could say it in this way, everything about ourselves because we're so beautiful. And then you can understand in that way, well, creation, we're not going to understand everything. I'm not going to get all the way, to knowing everything about creation either. So then what is really going on? And then you come back to that first word, one, consciousness. And this is all that experience is being here with my palms, so to speak, and that it's okay, to get into that fully.
That's what life is. That's all life is about, is experiencing. And, people say good or bad, and in actuality, there is no good and bad, but, that's really hard for people to wrap their head around. It really is. And you don't have to wrap your head around that. Just know that we're here to experience, and experiencing is the consciousness. It is living in a human body, a soul in a human body, and being aware of that and being aware of what we can do with that. And this time of ascension is about becoming more aware of our own consciousness, our own soul essence, our own beingness inside this physical body, and taking this dense physical body to a lighter physical body by clearing out the wounds, by clearing out the traumas, by clearing out the stinking thinking, by clearing out all the garbage that we carry around all the time. So many people walk around feeling like they have the world on their shoulders and that they're responsible for all these people. That's an actual physical weight. When you could weigh somebody in a healing session, weigh them when they come in, remove all that density and some other stuff, and they would weigh less on a scale than when they came. I've seen it happen. It's crazy. But consciousness is energy. Energy has a molecular weight. And the more that it attracts to it, the heavier and denser it becomes. So just like a piece of dust starts out as a piece of dust. If it's left unbothered in the house, eventually you're going to have dust bunnies all over the place because it gathered and it collected and it's got a weight. So it's the same thing with our physical bodies. We keep collecting all these things that don't serve us, that harm us actually, that are energy, and then they're collecting more molecules from more energy on them, and it becomes molecular weight, and then it becomes a physical issue. It starts out as a symptom, physical symptomatology, and then it works into, then people wind up with illnesses and diseases.
Well, yeah, I mean, in this way, I guess we can go with the next term of, energy and Miss Bryant, Margaret, and me, Dr. Joe, are both energy healers. And that way I'm a Reiki master, Usui, and I think you said Usui also for you. And in that kind of way, naturally, not to monopolize the word energy, but in that way, Reiki is, universal energy. And I just saw someone earlier walking through here, and she does Tai Chi Qigong. Beautiful Chinese lady here. But yeah, in that way, Qi is personal energy. So, right, the word energy, you have kind of both sides of that universal energy of this kind of unendingness, but we're still on topic, talking about energy. And that also we can connect to that, and that it's always positive and is incapable of being harmful, which is Reiki, right? In that way, always healing. And then our personal energy is Qi, which has to always be flowing lest we be dead physically, right? And we wouldn't be able to experience, the high states, the personal religious experiences without our body. It's like if someone ate meat for 20 years and then they started getting into yoga, and now they're in this, altered state, of asceticism, for the last 10 years of their life because they listened. So in that kind of way, something interesting about tying this together is that word listening. So the first word is consciousness. Then we have energy. Now, energy energy is a little bit kind of like cosmic, and this kind of like vastness that listening almost doesn't seem like the right word. Where are we listening to? A star? Right? What are we listening to in that way? And then that first word, well, consciousness is still present, in us. So the listening takes on a deeper aspect that transcends language, I would say, as a professional author, that it starts to enter into this resonance of the heart.
Well,
That,
your
yeah.
voice has energy. The songs we hear and listen to have energy because sound is energy. It's a frequency. A frequency is energy. It's not just a speck and a piece of something. It's in waves, and it's all around us. And it's really, you really need to sit and really think about that and realize, okay, well, there's energy all around me and everything. But when we're going through our day-to-day lives, we're not thinking like that because we weren't taught to. Now, the gurus that sat up on the hill, Paramahansa Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar, Sai Baba, they all knew that all the time. All the time. It never left their mind. It never left their consciousness. They were connected in with the divine, with source, creator, origin, whichever name that is you choose. But they were connected into that energy and that consciousness and understanding that everything is nothing but energy at all times. So our goal is now, we don't have to be up on the hill and live alone in isolation to be the guru. We are to be living in the world, not just of the world. To bring those teachings and that belief system and that knowingness, and it's not even teaching somebody that, it's showing them how to experience that. That's the gift. That's the high. Experiencing that divine connection in any moment, it's a natural high. That's what it's all about. That's what this whole life is about, really. Being a human is trying to connect in with that consciousness. And I'm not saying the consciousness and the divine is outside of you. It is within you. So you're actually going within and connecting inside into who you are as a being, which then connects to the greater whole. You're that speck of dust, you're that drop in the whole ocean. So you are the ocean. You are not a singular drop. We are not a singular piece of energy, a singular speck of dust. Would you agree?
Well, yes. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, and I think this is wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I guess in that way that if you understand, it is okay, as I said at the beginning of this video, that I know for a fact that you're included in this. All of this topic of these 3 words. So to skip to the end of it, how is it connected? It's all including you, everybody, right? Consciousness, energy, and healing, right, is all inclusive, right? It includes everybody. So in this kind of way that without you having to move a muscle, right? And just knowing that can be very, very grace-filled, as is how the absolute truth moves. So anyways, so in that way, that, what was I going to say? I agree. And that also the point of it, I guess, is that, what was it? Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that as you resonate with this, truth that's going on right now, and okay, I'm safe. I get it. Dr. Joe, it translates. I'm included. I'm safe. And you allow this kind of, to register, in this kind of way. And as you do that, well, we could skip to the next word. Healing can start to happen in that there's some kind of agreement, like you were saying, an accord, that can start to happen, an opening, an openness that is preferable long-term. And it might feel annoying, right? Short-term, in the sense of, it's like growth, when the roots go in the ground and the roots are struggling, they're like, as hard as they can go this way, one way, go all the way into the dirt. And they're doing that. And then basically, once once the roots go in, then the hands, hello, and it comes out and, and grows and everything. And it wants to, which direction? Somewhere. And then basically,
well, look at it like this, like a child.
Hmm.
A child is connected to their body. They're in communication with their body and their elemental, and they're connected with the creator. So kids out running around playing, and parents said, oh, you need to drink some water. And they're like, no, I don't need any water. And they keep playing. And then later they come and say, can I have a drink of water? And then all of a sudden they're hungry. Children, young toddlers, typically do not overeat. They will drink and eat and sleep when their body tells them it's time. Also, if they were to fall down and hurt their elbow, skin their knee, what are they going to do first? Or what is an adult going to do? Oh my God, that hurts. They've put their hand on it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They're sending energy to it. They've
Right.
already started the healing process.
Yes.
And most of the time they say, oh my God, that hurts. They're wincing like that. When you say, oh my God, you put yourself in alignment with the divine, whatever name that is you choose for that energy.
Yeah.
So as kids, they remember all of these abilities and they use them all the time. But to them, that's just life. It's only as we get to be adults that we've forgotten that now, oh, I need to open up my abilities again. I need to learn how to be clairvoyant and clairsentient, claircognizant, and all the clairs and all the things. But it's always been there. You just have to remember. The connection to the universe has always been there. It's always been within you. We're made up of the same things that the universe is made of.
Yeah.
We're no different. Until you have that experience of where you can be sitting and you don't feel that you have skin, that you have anything surrounding your bones, or that your bones are even there, and you're just part of all this air. And it's not hard to do. When you do that, then you are tapped into you. Into you. And it's a pretty cool place to be. And it's where the miracles happen. Every day, all over the place. And that's a whole nother thing. People will receive the healing. They will go to somebody and the divine and the source comes in, and with the source and the person helping to facilitate, a healing happens. And then the person will believe it. But if the person were alone, they won't believe it because no one was there to witness it with them. Also, they say, oh, I'm not good enough for a miracle. I don't deserve a miracle. Why not? You asked for the miracle. Why would you ask for a miracle if you don't think you deserve it? But that's what happens. A lot. People feel so undeserving that they don't think they can be healed. They don't think that they can have a better life. They can't see a better future. They can't see that anything's going to change. And it's because of outside circumstances that we've been told growing up, and we've seen growing up, and even in our adult life, that we believe those things to be true. But they're not. So we could choose to believe different, try a different way of thinking, a different way of believing, and watch life change. You are worthy of the miracle. You are deserving of it. Everyone is. Everyone. We all come from the same source energy, fractured into billions of pieces. This is how we're all connected. No one other person deserving of someone else, of something more than another. Yeah, do we work hard for it? Yep. Most of us do work hard in our lives. Are there people that don't work hard in their lives? Yeah. There's people of every walk of life and every different experience all over the place. But they can heal. You can heal. I can heal. You know, I went from having a life of chronic depression most of my life and poverty consciousness and a whole bunch of things
Yeah. Yeah.
to this life now that none of that exists. None of it. None of it. I did the work. I did the chakra clearings. I did the releasing of the different thoughts and beliefs. I changed my thought patterns. I did all the work. And I'm here to tell you it works, because my life is totally different than what it used to be. And back then, I couldn't even have imagined it being any different until one day I did. It's a hard road. It's a lot of work, but it's so rewarding when your life changes and you're happy almost every single day, all day long. And things flow, things are easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to detract or change the topic, from that, lovely personal openness, and sharing at all. But I guess the answer on that is no one else can say more about what is ultimately your personal experience, in that kind of way. But yeah, so going forward with this. So consciousness, energy, healing, how is it connected? And I guess in that way that we don't have to, like I said earlier, we don't have to play God, to use another phrase, or know everything, right? Or kind of skip to the end of the line or skip to the end of the race.
No.
And that, in that kind of way that, basically that, what if we focus just on that word connection and ourself and our need of it, instead of I need to, like that other attitude of I need to improve myself, almost like coming out of my skin, and running at a pace to a direction, and the direction might be not pure and our pace might not be good for us, and to be extreme about it, to not leave the people out who might be in trouble, right? Which is politeness technically. But then basically, so if we focus on the aspect of connection and us and our need, and that basically that in that way that, instead of, all of these different things, that can come up, that us, like is already up, we're already here, we're already alive. And knowing, resonating with this, that there's people that care in the world, and that, just allowing yourself to experiment with yourself and that need of connection, and that, is it psychological? Is it physical? Is it something that we can't put words onto? Like I said earlier, with the energy and the heart, is it, and you could, says Mr. Leo, is it everything? Is it all of
It's
you?
all of it.
Yeah.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
The physical heart. So this is where the physical heart and the energetics of the heart, the spiritual part of the heart, start to connect. HeartMath Institute, they've been doing research on heart coherence and the science of the heart, and also the spiritual connection with the heart. They found there's more neurosensory cells in your heart than in your brain, number one. Number two, your heart has a 25-foot magnetic field radius around you. So as soon as something steps into or moves into that 25-foot radius, your heart begins to recognize it. Something's in our field. It senses what it is. It tells the brain what it's picking up, and then the brain decides what to do. Okay, well, I'm walking into my living room. There's my fan. It's your fan. It's been there all along. There's no need to freak out, right? But if I came in and I rounded the corner and there was a person there all of a sudden, it's different than what's been in that field, and my whole body's going to react and say, oh, there's something different in my field. What do I do? That's the heart. That's the spiritual and energetic connection of the heart to our body and being.
Yeah.
Sensing the energy around us, sensing the physical objects around us, and telling us what to do, how to react, sending the signals to the brain so the brain says either walk by it or sit down or turn the other way. So it's all right there. It's not hard. And the connection is that all of it is connected. We're connected. It's all connected. There's no way that it cannot be.
Yeah. And I guess in that way that this would be the thing, right? Is this contributing to me? Is this contributing to my okayness? Right? Because that if we have that, I think about a person who knows about therapy, who might be going to talk therapy, and then so they're doing their best or good enough, and they're getting by, and life's a journey, of education and healing and growth and experience and relationships and all of this stuff, and that basically that is this something that is helping or hurting, and absolutely allow that truth, in context of these three words and this topic, to be, here. Consciousness, energy, healing. How is it connected? Is it something that's helping or hurting?
Well,
you can get more comfortable with weighing things in your actual life in that way, which I mean is definitely what I would call empowerment. And any therapist, no matter how big or small, or how much of a degree they have or they do not have, always supports empowerment.
Yes.
In that kind of way naturally. And that basically so consciousness, energy, healing, how is it connected? And it's okay, says Mr. Leo, and like you were just saying about your heart, it's okay that it's, we can see it kind of as like a, an affair with the cosmos, that all of this is your business. That, I didn't even know this. I just stumbled on it today, and that could be better than therapy, in the sense that I'm digging for something inside of myself, and my subconscious is freaking out because I thought I was good enough already. Right. And it's going into this place of, why do I have to come up with words in front of this, necktie guy who I know is the real deal, and worked with my dad for 10 years. In that kind of way. And that the cosmos is already here. Consciousness, like I said, the one consciousness that doesn't have to have kids, it's just one of them forever, right? You don't have to think of that way. It's just here. It already is, and that, it can certainly help us come to terms with our here-ness that is a lowercase h, and the one consciousness is here-ness is a capital H, in the sense of kind of like it's always, right? And our here-ness is not always. We came into being, and we're here. Right now I'm 35 and desperately trying to help the world. And then basically eventually I'll be gone forever, and then, energy. So energy in that way, I guess you could say, is kind of like a connective device, even of understanding, what carries through, what carries on, what really is eternal, and healing has to do with maybe what about us is eternal. If our soul, right, what we really are is eternal, and then healing is so profound and beautiful that it can heal, that any healing by definition that occurs is permanent, right? If someone actually receives actual healing, that wound is by definition, all wounds thereby by definition are not permanent, because the healing would be permanent and it would heal the wound, and then the wound would be going away and the healing would be lasting, so to speak, forever. So that's something, I guess, some cool.
Well, and back to what you said about, is this helping me or hurting me? In that moment, if you can step back and say, okay, is this helping me or hurting me? Number one, okay, it's helping me. Okay, I want more of this, so let's do some more. And why is it helping me? How is it helping me? This is how you can become more conscious of what's going on around you and within you by asking deeper questions, going further. So is this harming me? Yes. Okay. Well, let's get out of this situation now, if you can. And then, why is it harming me? Is it actually the person that is involved in the situation that's harming me, or is it an old wound? Did they just say something that actually triggered an old wound where somebody really, really harmed me, and this person just said something that sounded like it? So, actually figuring out where the good feeling is coming from, and what can it do for you, and how can you expand on it, and also what is the feeling that's not so fun doing for you, and how can you expand on it so that you don't have to feel that again, so that you can clear that up, and you can clear the energy of it up, because that energy is trapped somewhere in your body, which is then causing an issue. So it basically is doing investigation on yourself, tracking it down, going back to your analogy of the roots going into the ground. You got to have a seed first. If you can go back to find the seed and pull the seed out, you're going to pull the roots and everything out with it. And that's when the most profound healing happens, because now it has nothing to adhere to grow back. There's nothing there to grow back. Not the layers of peeling the onion like we used to do, which worked for years, but no longer actually works. It does to some extent, but look, we're past Band-Aid fixes. We're going through this ascension process. We are going through massive transformation right now. We don't have time to sit and peel off one layer of the onion anymore. Let's go down and get the whole root of the dandelion right down to the seed, and let's rip that out and say, done, put it in the compost, move on. No Band-Aid fixes. No Band-Aid fixes. We're past it. Not necessary. The day of the feel-good energy healing is we need to move past that. Yes, the energy healing feels good and the energy flowing through you feels good, but we need to get past just that feel good to the lasting healing that stays, that's held.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at in consciousness now.
Yeah.
And in our evolution. Someone's not going to go to the doctor and say, I have this problem, and they give you a diagnosis and they give you a pill and they say you're going to have to take this pill for the rest of your life. So the person takes a prescription for the rest of their life. Or do they say, hey, wait a minute, I will take it for now, and I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to do a whole bunch of things and get myself off of this pill and get back to feeling healthy and where I was before, so that I no longer need the pill. More and more people are going a holistic way with herbs, food, and changing things about their body than going to the traditional Western medicine. Or they're using both. They're using the Western medicine and the herbs and the diet to change things so they can take less of the Western medicine. It's all healing, but there's no more Band-Aid fix. We're going to fix you right now, and then 6 months later, you're going to have to come back and go on another drug because you're feeling worse. No, that's not the point. The point is to feel, not just feel better now, but to be better, to be healthier, to be embodied and empowered in our own well-being. And that's where people are taking their power back.
Yeah. So we're at 45 minutes, and I usually go for about an hour with this stuff. And I guess in this kind of way, this one ended up being, says Mr. Leo, I guess I'll just say that phrase again, a serious one, and we still have 15 minutes. And I guess in that way that's the other aspect of this is, it's okay to utterly prioritize yourself and your well-being while watching this video. You don't have to let your mind go into anything else. Let yourself, it might seem selfish. It might seem whatever, but letting yourself just be in that kind of tube of self-love and prioritize for yourself, and that knowing that all of this content is for your benefit, which is serious, but is ultimately your business. And
Well,
yeah,
you
go
can
ahead.
listen to it while you're playing solitaire on your phone. Because your subconscious mind is still going to obtain and hold on to the information, because your subconscious mind is registering every second all around you, every day and every moment. It's still going to register, and it's going to go deep in there so that someday you can pull it out of your memory bank when you need it. It's there. So it doesn't have to be that serious. It's not. I can tell you, most people probably multitask when they're listening to podcasts. They're probably doing dishes and doing laundry. And then there's some of them that are sitting there taking notes the whole time. It's wherever someone is on their own individual journey of how they interact with the information. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, how they interact with the information. Yeah, I mean, in the sense that, yes, we mentioned, I already brought up self-love, and I guess in that kind of way, that how you interact with life matters, right? And
Yeah.
interact is an interesting word in the sense that there's a little bit of a space in it. Interact, right? It's kind of like I'm here and life's there, and how I interact with it. And that's interesting, in the sense that, a lot of the times people we're here. It's kind of like, it's like crawling on us already, that there isn't a gap, there isn't a space, so to speak. Now, I guess as a spiritual guide, that's something of my business, in the sense of, it is okay for us to be detached. I want to just end the sentence there with a period. And then what I mean by that, I guess in that way, is that what is it that's going on, if not freedom, in context of that? Meaning that we are not always so clear about life and what is really going on. And in that way, if someone was to sit down and say, you said it, Dr. Joe, I wasn't able to pick the word, but I want to be detached, right? And that's okay. And that in that way, yeah, that in that way, that letting yourself be detached is really you loving yourself and acknowledging yourself. It doesn't have to be anything else. It doesn't have to be, why am I detached? What am I running away from? Right? You don't have to do any of that, because that's really what this is. This experience of you choosing to prioritize yourself and choosing to be free, and in that way, all of that self-love. And I don't have to know you or your life or your personal preferences or anything about anything to know that that's true, right where you are right now.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm not detached, and I understand my connection to the truth. But detachment, like I said, is a-okay, in the sense that it's just a natural thing that happens in life, us becoming detached. And it can be a very, very good thing, in context of abuse. Obviously we'd have to detach from our abuser. We'd have to detach from our past history, the paths literally and figuratively that we would walk down.
Mm-hmm.
And, in that way, it puts you deeper into your connection with your heart. It doesn't take you away from that, that it's not possible,
Well, it's self-preservation.
self-preservation. Interesting. Yeah.
It's self-preservation to help you get through whatever is going on in that moment. And is that self-love? Taking care of yourself in any way that you can in the moment? Yes, that is, because you're taking care of yourself. But is it always the best choices that we make in how we do that? Maybe not. and maybe they are. Everybody's on their own individual journey. What works for one person doesn't work for the other. We're not cookie cutters. We're all different. And what works for me doesn't work for you. And what works for me doesn't work for my sister. And it's okay. It's okay.
I guess in that way that it is also
Find what
okay.
works.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just to say, just find what works for you.
Yeah,
Find what works for you.
yeah. And works is a strong adult word. No. Because I mean, in that way that there are people that this is a big problem. If you talk about, problems, this, like I said, this ended up being a serious podcast. It's just one of those days where things have to come out and, the stars align. And as much as you want things to not be dealt with or whatever, that you're included, is serious. It's beautiful that you're connected. But this real, I'm writing a book right now that's the reform of the education system, which is obviously
Yes.
serious, everybody's big business stuff. And one of these issues in our shared world is basically that revolving around the idea of adults or adulthood, and that there is this, if we talk about work, and in that way that it's okay for us to, I'll go with my book, The Reform of the Education System. I have 3 truths in this book called, the first one is the universal motto, which is whatever is conducive for joy should be pointed out, amplified, maintained, and sustained and implemented as foundational and fundamental, and what is not should be pointed out and removed as least condemnatorily/pessimistically as possible, through the light of awareness, positive action, and self-love for the well-being of all. So that's the universal motto, which you can apply because it's universal, but it has to do with the reform of the education system. Then the foundational truth is all
Apply that
beings.
to your life.
You absolutely can, which keeps going down the road of seriousness to its end. Something that you can kind of grab like a scepter and kind of aha. But yes, then the foundational truth is the next one. The foundational truth is all beings deserve to be happy and not suffer needlessly. Then the teacher's truth is the student's experience is always the number one priority. So those are the 3 truths of the reform of the education system, a book / endeavor, all of it's an endeavor, including the book, that I have going on. And if you check out my website, I have a book section, joevertino.org. I'll put it in the comments. But what I was going to say about this is basically that if we all deserve to be happy and not suffer needlessly, allow yourself to bend to that. Now, that's not a religion, and it's literally only your intellectual thought process or property that I have presented to you, called the foundational truth, that happens to be in my book about the reform of the education system. But it's what you can allow yourself to bend to. Instead of, when I go to church, I don't want to go. Part of me doesn't want to go in. I don't want to stare people in the eyeballs. But what I'm looking for and feeling into is real. And you're still here right now. Whether that failed, not to step on your toes, experience, right, is still resonating with you or not, or whatever, that you're here right now, and that need and that human being, right, that you are, allowing yourself to take in, that truth. We all deserve to be happy and not suffer needlessly.
Absolutely.
And letting yourself, now meditate is a strong word, but I like using a word like reverberate, letting yourself be like this empty, kind of person who is here, and that, this truth, that truth isn't going to fall apart just because we start to climb its ladder, right? No. And that's not a religion. So, okay, just saying that to make you hopefully feel more comfortable about stepping up it, and in that way that basically that, it's any time to start is okay. Starting, like my analogy, I guess, is good enough, of the cosmic ladder, that, like I said, the cosmos and the one consciousness has been around before we were here and will be around before after we go. And that in that way, you don't have to being the operative word anyway about that. But what's more important is you feeling empowered to take one step on that cosmic ladder.
Yeah.
That we don't have to know everything about, but we do need to know at least about our foot and about the step. That's all.
And try to have sure footing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's okay if you wobble too. Just keep stepping. You know, people are afraid to take that proverbial leap of faith because they're afraid they're going to fall. But every single day you take a risk. When I walk from here outside, I take a risk. Am I going to sprain my ankle? Am I going to fall down the stairs? It's a risk. But because I do it all the time, you don't think about it. But all of a sudden, you've got this choice to make between two different jobs. Which one should I take? Well, it's a leap of faith to take this one. Well, take it. Step into it. Doesn't mean you're going to fall. You could fly. You don't know until you take it. Everything we do is a risk. But we don't think about it. So instead of stressing yourself out about the choices and all that, just say, you know what, I'm just going to do this, and what happens, happens. I've weighed the pros, I've weighed the cons, and I'm going to make this choice. Something's going to happen, and it's probably going to be good. And if it isn't, well, I learned the lesson, and I'll do something else. We get too serious. We get too wound up in our thoughts and right and wrong and afraid of failing and afraid of success. So many people are afraid of failure and success. They're afraid, they don't want to fail because they don't want anybody to know that they failed. They just don't want to fail. But they also don't want to succeed because, if I succeed, I'm going to be so tired. I'm going to have to work more hours. It's going to take more out of me. I don't want to do that. So they keep themselves stuck. They keep themselves stuck, complacent. And all they do is create themselves a whole lot of stress that isn't necessary. We make things too serious when they don't need to be. Yes, there are serious things. There are very serious matters going on. But a lot of it is not as serious as we make it out to be. So, drama, chaos, that's what's going on around us all the time, and we get used to it. So then we choose to just stay sitting in it. I don't like it, so I don't sit in it. And if it comes into my field, then I do what I can to change the situation and get myself out of it. I don't have to participate in it. I can choose what I participate in.
Mm-hmm.
So I choose fun stuff.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I guess in this way, we're almost at an hour. But yeah, so, yeah.
Can I tell your listeners where they could find me on all over Google?
Sure. Go for it. Absolutely.
My website is margaretbryant.org, or seekthelightwithin.com will take you to the same place. I'm on all the social media sites under Margaret Bryant Spiritual Mentor, I think it is. I have all different kinds of services that I offer, and I also do a lot of free stuff. So look forward to doing more podcasts and talking about all the things that I love, and hopefully my people that I get on podcasts with love as well, and just having a great, big, expansive, fun conversation. This is the joy in my life. this is joy to me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's something I guess to share a little bit more. And of course, I said my website, and then here's hers. Both of ours are in the comments. Mine is joevertino.org. I have guided meditations that are free, books, music, spiritual guidance, practical life advice, healing wisdom, which is all serious. It's not. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to make it into an opinion in your head. You know that you can sense that it's something that's good for you and it's good for other people and everybody. So take the risk and type in the website. It's not a big risk. You won't regret it. And if you go into it just as you are, you don't have to, my job is all of that's my work. And I put all of my energy into it so that you don't have to move, so that you don't have to budge, right? That you can come to it as just as you are right now. Right.
Yeah.
And that's it. Right. And it's just something that you can add to your life, that will, I know, that you might instantly feel, oh, eureka. Yeah, if I mention something in a video, it might take a little bit. Who knows? But you'll find something that you'll resonate with, because that's, I don't know where to go with the rest of that sentence. But yeah. But anyway, so that's me and that's hers, and hers is on there. And I'm looking for work, in any direction, says Mr. Leo, like the sun's rays. So, the reform of the education system, I'm obviously very comfortable, and I would like to prove it to you how comfortable I am in the world. What would that be? Neutral worldview space that is required, so to speak, to properly handle the reform of the education system as an individual sole person, with no collaboration so far or co-authorship at all, and have the book about to be done and over 400 pages. So I hope that's impressive to you, because it's very important for a master healer, meaning that maybe your healer, or spiritual guide, meaning your guide, to be someone that makes you feel safe and trust, comfortable. And that is natural for us to feel comfortable with someone in that way, that they are in their mind, in their intellect, that they are in a place of goodness and benevolence. And why should I be ashamed of that? That's something I should be yelling, right? So
Yeah.
that people pay attention to it. But anyways, enough about me. And we are over an hour, and I technically should end now. But thank you so much for tuning in. I always say angel blessings. Lovely thing to say. Why not? And that I pray that you discover more of the colors of the rainbow, so to speak, in all seriousness, meaning the aspects of creation that are here, that are good, that are craved by our souls, so to speak, because our souls crave experience and education and growth and wisdom. So I pray that we move in that direction. Amen. And if you want to wrap up with maybe just like a minute of something, and then we basically will be done. And thank you for being on my show, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure, actually. And to all of your listeners, it's easy. It's not that hard. Some days are hard, but the more you practice, the more you engage in yourself. I don't want to say the word work. The more you engage in yourself, the easier it becomes. And look at it that way. Just look at it that way. And my saying is infinite blessings. So we're very much on the same page. Infinite blessings to all of you. May the light fill your heart and your day and make it easy and effortless to move through. So thank you for having me. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Bless you. Bye.